audio description important for? Is it A, growing business, or B, consumers with low or no vision? Answer is all of the above. So let me do a little quiz for you. First of all, by 2020, what's going to be the number of people in the UK living with sight loss? Does anyone know? Just shout out answers. It'll actually rise to 2.25 million. Do you know what size of a country that is comparable to? A country like Slovenia, a small country like Slovenia. That's the number of people that are going to be living with sight loss by 2020. So, has everyone heard and experienced audio description? I think we all have today. Is that right? Okay, I'm going to do this in the slightly so how much? So Procter & Gamble. Do you know some of our products and our brands? So we do Pantene, Head and Shoulders, and our hair care. We do Pampers. We do Ariel, Gillette. Always, Tampax, yeah. So with a company this size, how much does P&G spend on advertising a year? 25 million, 75 million, or 150 million? 150. Well done. I didn't think anybody would get that one right. So if we're spending 150 million on advertising, and 2.25 million people are blind and our advertising wasn't accessible to them, do you think that's a loss of business? Do you think that's also a shame for our consumers who can't see our advertising? We're not able to reach our consumers with that advertising. So it's a really big, it's a really very important for the business that we reach these 2.25 million consumers to see our advertising, because these 2.25 million people, they shave, they wash their hair, they clean their homes, so why can't we advertise to them? I'd like you to, has anyone ever seen an audio described advert? Yes, which one have you seen? The Superhumans, Okay, would you like to see one of our audio described ads on Ariel pods? Okay, maybe the sighted people, can you close your eyes while watching the ad, maybe even for 10 seconds out of the 30. Let's play the ad.
Sure, do we need to play the ad for the whole app?
No, it should be on the presentation. Just click.
No, it takes me to the next slide. No, I don't think we want this video because this is...
The Kerry video? Yeah, not that one, this one before.
One. So,
technical issues, guys.
is there anyone who could help play this video?
Shall I play this on mine? Nigel, I might need to...
No, okay, that's not it.
Okay.
I think the audio is important.
You can, oops, spill your liquid detergent, a woman in a rush. You can put quick laundry. There is another way. A man throws Ariel 3-in-1 pods into his machine, a chef. Pod whites. A stylish gent. Pod stripes. A dirt biker girl. Pod stains. A gym buff. Pod sweat. Or you can, oops, spill your liquid detergent, a woman in a rush. You can pod quick. A colourful old lady. All the colours. A young man pods. So enjoy the brilliant clean of Ariel 3-in-1 pods. The U-Pod, always pod safely. Close with a click and keep out of reach of children.
So that's one of our ads that we've done with audio description, because we want to reach out to consumers who are unable to physically see our ads. Now, I wanted to share with you what consumers with low vision think about audio description. If we just play the next video.
Hello, my name's Kerry.
Hello, my name is Kelly.
I lost my sight just before I was 2.
I'm registered blind. I have a little vision in my left eye, but it's not useful enough to watch television in any great detail.
The first time I saw an audio described advert was only last month.
I've only recently saw an advert with audio description, and I couldn't believe how much I've missed before.
But this one night I was watching something on a Saturday night with my 2 kids, and all of a sudden I just became conscious that I thought I had heard some audio description in the advert, so I actually had to rewind it to see what it was, and it was an advert for Fairy. And when I thought about it afterwards, I just thought, this is really good.
It's amazing actually watching an advert with audio description, because you have so much more content and so much more information, and the humour is portrayed and how that comes across to you as well.
So I'm so pleased that Procter & Gamble have done it, and I think well done to them.
So I just wanted to tell you a little bit about the how. I think Paul Smith this morning talked about the how is important, and I just thought I'd talk about the how because I found it very inspiring. So the how came about a couple of years ago. P&G decided that yes, audio description was a big opportunity for the company. When we set out we didn't really know how that was done. We didn't know who the players were. We reached out to the RNIB. Sonali in particular was my hero, is my hero. We asked Sonali, how does it all work? How do we get it done? Sonali got us involved with Bill, who you'll hear from next, and then Rachel. Basically, the industry hadn't ever thought about making ads audio described. They'd thought about films, TV programs, but adverts was not something that they'd ever thought about or they knew how to do. So with the influence of P&G being be the biggest advertiser, working with ITV, Channel 4, Channel 5, we brought them to P&G. We brought the regulators, we brought the RNIB, and we all just collectively had a conversation about what will it take to make advertising accessible. And it got everybody excited. The energy in the room was fantastic. People committed to actually getting this. They didn't know how, but they were going to figure it out. And by June last year, I think ITV were the first to offer audio description on their terrestrial TV, followed by Channel 5, Channel 4. And so we've kind of, we're on the journey, but we've made significant progress already. I wanted to share now some of the current challenges. So we've been doing audio description for a year, and some of the challenges are around audio description is harder to do on advertising because it's only a 30-second slot, and quite often it also has dialogue in there. How do you actually, intersect the audio description in there? We need the other thing that's been very interesting is the regulation around audio description is very, very tough, the interpretation right now. Regulators are requiring us to audio describe all the supers, or we can't do any audio description. So the regulations are hard, but we're working with the RNIB and the regulators themselves and the industry to see how we can change that and make it more relevant. The traditional audio description principles don't fit. Normally, the principles are around don't go over the dialogue in the film. But when it's a 30-second slot, what we found is that we can't actually, sometimes that aerial ad that you saw, we had to go over the dialogue to add in the more meaningful description so that a blind person would know what was actually going on. And the last challenge is that the AD, audio description, closed audio description does not exist on digital platforms. So, as a consumer consuming ads through YouTube or Facebook right now, there isn't a way to get audio description if you have accessibility needs. And that's the dialogue, the conversation that I've actually started with Mr. Google today. So hoping that we can bring audio description to digital.
Yeah, Channel 4's gone on a bit of a journey, I think, since the 2012 Paralympics. As you know, we, for the actual opening ceremony of 2012, we actually showed that with audio description, open audio description, and signing. So I've got a couple of trailers to show you of kind of what we've done since. First one is the Rio Paralympics, where 4Creative actually took the actual promotional campaign. We made that completely accessible. We've also worked heavily with the RNIB on making sure that people understand eye conditions. And we did a piece in 2017 around eye conditions and what that means to people. Could you show those two trails?
Allianz, proud to support the Paralympic Games on 4. All right, folks, strap in. A drum fills the screen, but the drumsticks are in the feet of a man with no arms. A 10-piece swing band joins in, featuring a one-armed bass player and a blind pianist. A lead singer in a blue suit and trilby performs a spin in a wheelchair.
Yes, I can suddenly.
The lead singer rolls off the stage and onto a road, racing alongside British Paralympian Hannah Cockcroft.
Take a look, what do you see?
Then an athlete with one leg hops an impressive high jump.
Got the feeling now.
Striking images of people doing things with their feet, from a mother lifting her baby to a man doing donuts in a car around the band.
Yes, I can.
A series of wheelchair users, from ballroom dancers to wheelchair rugby players who collide. Ouch! The singer rolls into a black and white scene, complete with graceful amputee tap dancers, a pianist with partially formed arms, tap dancing prosthetic legs, and a chorus line of girls elegantly displaying their stumps. The singer dons a crash helmet and smashes through the set wall. A starter's pistol, Paralympic swimmers racing, then Blade Runner Richard Whitehead sprinting on a track. A rock band appears in the middle of a wheelchair basketball game. A guitarist with one hand rocks out, while the lead guitarist plays a solo with his feet. A blind footballer lifts a finger to his lips. Blind footballers score a goal. Back of the net.
Yes, I can.
A series of people shout, "Yes, I can," while showing their abilities, including Paralympic swimmer Ellie Simmons, Paralympic sprinter Libby Clegg, a Paralympic shot putter and cyclist,
Yes, I can.
wheelchair multi-Paralympian David Weir, a pilot with no arms, a gymnast with one hand, a graduate with Down syndrome, a ballerina with a prosthetic leg, 3 Paralympic powerlifters, a deaf signer, and a breakdancer. Phew. Did you get all that?
Yes, I can.
A careers advisor talks to a boy in a wheelchair.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can! The boy is now a Paralympics GB wheelchair rugby player and crashes into an opponent. A rock climber with one arm missing below the elbow. Martial artists kicking ass. Then heartwarming footage of children using prosthetic limbs at home and at school. The band plays at the top of a mega ramp in a stadium as a man in a wheelchair performs a death-defying stunt. And a man with partially formed arms brushes his teeth. We're the Superhumans. Rio 2016 Paralympics. This September on Channel 4. That's just awesome.
Channel 4 and the RNIB continue with their very special ad break. More than 2 million people in the UK are living with sight loss. For the next few minutes, we apply visual filters to illustrate some of the most common eye conditions, and there's audio description for viewers with a visual impairment. Macular degeneration affects the central part of your vision.
When you're on O2, your network coverage is like baby geese.
A man on his phone has a flock of geese following him out of his house and down a tube escalator. Then into a camper van in the middle of a forest. And into a cafe where he's on his laptop. Finally, he's back at home on his phone.
Keep connected with our 15,000 Wi-Fi hotspots, nationwide 4G, and now with European roaming included. O2, more for you.
Compatible 4G device and O2 Wi-Fi registration required. Some limitation to underground and network coverage. Minimum term agreement and credit check apply. Roaming in our Europe zone. 47 destinations, no extra charge. Terms apply.
This is an advertisement. Cataracts cause your sight to become cloudy or misty.
In a luxurious bathroom, a smouldering man starts to undress, watched through a two-way mirror by a flock of palpitating, glamorous women. When he peels off his trousers, then sprays Pure Excess down his ripped, naked body, the women all faint.
Pure Excess, the new fragrance for men by Paco Rabanne.
Hashtag excessive me.
So I think those two pieces show a real example of what Channel 4's been getting up to the last few years. I took over Access Services about 5 years ago now, and I kind of, in all honesty, I think the cobwebs were on it a little bit. We were hitting all the Ofcom quotas, but I got my team together and I said, look, I don't think we're doing enough around audio description, around signing. So we did a survey a couple of years ago to our consumers, asking them what they wanted. This has taken us on quite a journey. So we had a lot to fix, and I'm happy to say we're kind of getting there. So in terms of kind of making sure we have content there for viewers, you know, we've kind of listened to them. So stuff like Gogglebox now is audio described. That's actually quite difficult to do. It delivers to my team at around about 7 o'clock in the evening now. I have a team on standby waiting to audio describe it. There's 2 sets of them. So I think the other part of the journey is the fact that video on demand is really not there yet. I think there's a couple of very exciting things that will happen next year at Channel 4. I want to see as much